Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bus Drivers Route podcast for episode 3 of Real World Explosion. I am your host, Brian Cohen. This episode is obviously one of the more emotional episodes that the Real World franchise has had in years, with the unfortunate passing of Jay's mother. We were all obviously very sorry for his loss. He was very appreciative of all the kind words that everyone said to help him get through this obviously very trying time. So I was able to speak to Jay about everything that had to do with that. And then we touched on plenty of the other issues from the episode, including Ashley leaving or being voted out of the house, and some of the other major highlights from the season. So we'll get to all that in just a bit. Let me just remind you to check out my blog at busdriversroute.com. Follow me on Twitter at busdriversroute, and subscribe to my YouTube channel so when I post all my interviews, they'll be sent directly to you. Throughout the interview, Jay mentioned a website that you can go donate money to and his watch collection that he's selling, where a portion of all the proceeds go to the foundation as well. I put all those links in the description, so just go check those out. And anything you can give, obviously, would be greatly appreciated. All right, so now let me just get to the interview. So here is Jay. All right, so let me just first start by saying, on behalf of everyone, Real World, all the fans, just deepest condolences for your loss that we saw last night.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting that normally for each season, each roommate has like an episode where they're kind of dreading because of some big drunken fight or something like that. Now for you, obviously this is like a totally different stratosphere than that. So what was it like kind of anticipating this episode, knowing you're going to have to relive all this again?
It's probably one of the worst things. Sometimes you're nervous for an interview, a meeting or something, and you're like, oh, I know it's coming. Imagine knowing that you have to watch that again.
Mm-hmm.
And it wears on you. It definitely wears on you. I mean, I had to watch it a few weeks ago when we did the after show for it.
Mm-hmm.
And even watching it then, I mean, I was crying. My roommates were crying. And then knowing that it was coming on that's when I knew, like, okay, the next episode is it, and then you're sitting there for the week like, damn, this is going to suck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not fun.
No, I could not even imagine. So when you hear the news and you obviously pack up, you start to head home for the funeral, what kind of conversations did you have with MTV about potentially keeping your trip home and all that stuff private, about not sending the cameras? Was that even an option at all for them?
Well, yes. I could have went back without any cameras, stayed in New York without any cameras, and then they were going to allow me to come back. I mean, they were very understanding and sympathetic considering the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think anybody would be. They asked me if I would be okay with them coming with the cameras, because they wanted to catch my story. They wanted to capture my story and spread it. And they had given me, they said, even if we come down, you can tell us what you want us to film and what you don't want us to film. And they were very respectful. My decision for them to come to New York with me was based on the fact that it's such a bad thing, but my hopes were that one person could turn around after seeing what I went through and, tell their parents that they love them. And I let them come with me because I wanted other people to understand that it's the worst experience of your life, and, you have to cherish what you have left. And that's why I allowed them to come with me. And they were very respectful. They never stepped foot in the church, in the funeral home, but, they just captured me at my house, us outside. MTV was great on that. I give them a lot of respect for how respectful they were.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I was worried that was kind of like forced on you, so it was good that they kind of
No, it was absolutely not forced. They literally were like, we don't even have to go to New York with you. But I wanted them to, because I wanted to portray that message, and I wanted to get everything out there. I did this for my mom, and it needed to be shown, and I've received a lot of love for it. But MTV never once crossed any lines on that. They were excellent.
Was there any doubt that you would be coming back to the house, or is there back there, this could be it for you?
Yeah, there was definitely some doubt. I mean, I was just kind of broken, I'm the strong one, and I was just broken. And to come back here and be with my actual family, and knowing that like everything that just happened, my brother was devastated, my dad was out of it. I'm the one who usually stays strong for them, and it's like in my head, I'm sitting there saying, if I go back, then I'm just leaving them.
Right.
And there's obviously funeral costs, and cleaning out her house, and like so much has to get done. But I had the doubts. I did, but they kept just yelling at me and enforcing it. My mom was the reason that I started this journey, and I need to finish it for her, and they'd be able to handle it, and I need to go back with my roommates, and they just kept yelling at me to do it. And
that's good. That's good. So they were encouraging you to go back. I'm sure that made the decision a lot easier for you.
It did, and what helped with my dad was knowing that I was with my roommates and knowing how good they were to me when this happened. It took a weight off my father's shoulders, knowing that he didn't have to worry about me because I had them to back me up, So
right.
that definitely helped, and I don't know, it was hard. It was still hard no matter what, but I started it for her. I finished it for her. That was what was going in my head.
Now, one of the things I'm disappointed about that we didn't get a chance to see was you coming back to the house and seeing everyone's reaction. So how quickly did it kind of get back to normal around there, or like was it immediate? Did they kind of worry about kind of stepping on your toes a little bit, or like how was the transition back?
I don't think we ever got back to normal, to be totally honest. I mean,
no.
They show and I really liked what they showed in the episode of them, Tom was having like a random conversation like, oh, I hope Jay's doing okay, and they showed him in the confessional asking how, hoping I was okay, and Ariel was I'm juiced in my voice coming back and everything. Like I didn't know any of that happened.
Right.
So watching it on the show was great. They met me at the airport. So they show when they have the signs in their hand and they're at the airport. They met me there. I had no idea they were going to be there.
Oh, that's cool.
I was told, a ride will pick you up, bring you back to the house. I turned the corner and saw all my roommates with signs in their hand, wearing my watches, and screaming my name. It was the best welcome I could have ever got.
Mm-hmm. Now I saw you on Twitter giving out the name of a website that people can go donate money to, like a charity. So what's the website and the deal with that?
It's just a donation. It's a donation page. It's youcaring.com/fightback, and it's just a donation page to a cancer foundation, basically, in honor of my mother.
Okay.
Also, the other thing I have running now too, which is the new watches that I just released last night. They have it's a white watch, has a pink cancer ribbon on the face of the watch, has a pink cancer ribbon on the band of the watch. So again, it's another thing just in honor of my mother. And those watches, for every watch I sell, I donate 5% to a cancer foundation. Any cancer watch that's bought, I'll be donating 10%. And the watches, you can find them, the website is crazewatches.com, and Instagram and Twitter is @crazewatches. So I'm really hoping to push that and kind of, just spread some love out there and see what we can come up with.
Yeah, that'd be great. So there's no like real easy transitions to this. So let's talk about drunk Ashley. The complete opposite of what we were just discussing. But so before you find out that she's the one who tears up the list of numbers and all that, what was your feeling for Ashley in the house?
I just thought Ashley was great when she was sober. She was great when she was sober. And once she got drunk, she just changed. She just went completely wacky. And you see that I voted yes for her to come back.
Right.
I voted yes for her to come back in the house because I felt bad. I felt she needed it. She deserved a second chance. She had not done me any wrong that I knew of at the time. And I just felt like maybe she was. It's rough. It's rough to leave your family behind and leave everything you have, and live with people you don't know, and then to not get along with them right away. I'm sure it was really hard on her. But
when did you find out that it was her who ripped it up?
After she left, like a while after she left, because I was still freaking out in the house. Because in my head, they're all my family now, my quote-unquote family, but one of them ripped my paper up. That was still in my head. So every day we had conversations about stuff, but I would always bring it up and be like, don't forget, like, someone did that, and I don't forget that kind of stuff. Like, so the producers eventually, were like, before Jay starts freaking out, since, Ashley left, Ashley's not there, so they were like, it's not going to affect it. He's not going to go try and kill her. So let's let him know. That way he can sleep at night knowing the people he is living with didn't do it.
Okay.
So they showed me the video of her ripping it up. And then I got to go on an after show and then finally get at her for it.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, because it seems like we're actually getting a sense of, the producers asking you questions. So I was wondering kind of like the ground rules or the boundaries that they have with you about how much they're allowed to tell you about stuff you missed. Like, so they're not supposed to tell you stuff like that, but they can, because I know they were filling Corey and Ashley about their hookup, but then they wouldn't tell you about theirs. So do you know what kind of boundaries that they set for themselves against you?
No, I don't really know. I mean, as you can see from watching the season, it's so different than every other season in the aspect of they show camera guys, they show sound guys, they show us using the bat phone, they show us when we have the interviews, you hear the producer talking to us, asking us a question. They've never done any of that before. So it's a totally different aspect. I mean, what they did because of a situation like that, they took the video and put it on the computer and let me watch it on the computer. They basically uploaded it to the computer that we had in the house and let me watch it. That way I could rest easy.
Okay.
So I don't know their exact limitations because things are very different this season, but in certain situations when things got really hectic, they were there for us and they calmed us down when they needed to by showing us what we needed to see.
Okay. So I was going to ask, because I know they, like you said, they showed the sound guy last episode, and even Jamie acknowledged them. They laughed and stuff. So what type of interaction did you all have with the crew? Were you allowed to talk with them at all? Because I know in past seasons that was strictly forbidden.
Oh, I love the crew. I love them. They were like part of the family too. I mean, we're not allowed to talk to them. They're not allowed to talk to us. However, you're with them 24 hours a day for 3 months. Mm-hmm. You get to know them, and the fact that we couldn't have a conversation with them, but they would make, I don't want to get nobody in trouble. I really don't.
Don't name names. You don't have to name names.
Right. We were able to interact with them a little bit. When the stuff happened with my mom, all the camera guys, all the sound guys, everyone, the producers, everyone came and, on shift changes, they would come in and give me a hug and be like, I'm sorry, man. I really am sorry. It's so hard. Mm-hmm. They were telling me how hard it was to film it. So we had enough of a relationship with them, and they liked what we did. We liked what they did. We got along. It made it easier for them to follow us around 24 hours a day. They became part of the family too. Same people every day for 3 months. You start to form bonds with people. It was a very weird bond that you form with them because you can't have a full-blown conversation. But we got enough in there when we needed to.
Okay. So then in the last episode, Ashley disappears. So was it the 3 days that was shown was 3 days that she was gone?
Wait, when
she just disappears from the house before being voted out, that was a span of 3 days?
3 days, my butt. It was 2 weeks.
Wow, that was that long?
She was gone for a while. See, she left while I was in New York. I had, flew back to New York for the wake and the funeral of my mom, and when I showed back up, she had already left.
Oh, wow.
And she was gone for, I'd say, at least another week or two. At least another week or two before she even, it had to be, I guess, a week. Maybe a week, maybe a little bit longer before she even made that phone call and was like, hey, I'm considering coming back. She was gone for a while.
Yeah. So that vote, was that a hard vote that it's obviously you guys voted no, so she didn't come back, but did she have still a choice if she wanted to come back or not?
My assumption is yes. I believe she still could have came back if she wanted to, but she didn't want to come back into a house knowing we didn't want her there, which I don't think anybody would, So she had asked me, just let me know. Do you guys want me to come back? Everyone ended up voting no. The majority ruled no. She probably could have still come back, but who would want to come back knowing that everyone just said they don't want you there,
Right.
So I think she made the decision not to come more for herself after finding out that nobody wanted her there.
Yeah. So the last thing on Ashley, then we'll touch a couple other things. But one of her big things is that she would always help get you into bars and get you bottle service and stuff. But I would think just being on the Real World would help with that. So how much did she really help you guys go out?
Before you even finish your sentence, she didn't. Okay?
Yeah,
didn't help anything.
Yeah, I mean, you guys on the Real World, they're setting you up with stuff. I can't imagine that Ashley is going to be better than frickin' producers at MTV.
No, but this was the first, this all happened within, the first 3 weeks that we were there. Yeah. So we didn't know any. We were just starting to get familiar with San Francisco. The first night that we went out, she called her friend. We had to set up a producer, but she called her friend to okay, the club that we were going to. And we went there, and we were we were grateful for it. But then when she throws her purse and goes through that whole big thing, she's yelling, "My friends won't get you bottles anymore." She met that guy that night. The producers have to call the club to let them know we're coming and everything and make sure it's okay. They're the ones who end up setting everything up. I mean, plus look at all every interview I've done and all this stuff, and even in a couple of the episodes you see me emceeing. We all went in there and made our connections. I made my connection with every bar owner that was in every club that we went to, and I emceed at like 7 different clubs. We didn't need her for that, and she didn't do anything for that. I don't know why she thinks she did anything. She did one club, and then that was it. We never needed her.
That's just, I don't know. She was probably just wanted to push the importance that she was important to the house, but
I think she thought that was going to be her role. Like, it's her area. She can hook all this stuff up. You have cameras. You don't need Ashley to begin with. But then on top of that, she didn't do anything. She didn't actually hook us up with anything. The one night that she did was the first night, and that was it. Then we got into the flow of things, and we made our own connections, and we made everything work.
Exactly, yeah. So one of the other lines I thought was really interesting you said last night was that Tom would, whenever you guys would get home, would just pass out and avoid all that stuff. So did he really do that pretty much all the time?
Tom is the smartest kid in the house.
Because that's like the genius move.
It is the genius move, and I think I yell about it in every episode. We go out. He has a great time. He gets smacked. Great time. We have a blast. Comes home. He'll eat, hang out for a little while, and then boom, he goes right to bed. Avoids all drama. He's asleep every time Corey and Jenny fight.
Good for him to be able to sleep through it too. That's got to be a tough job sleeping through them.
Oh my God, you have I don't know how anybody slept through anything.
What was your relationship like with Tom and Corey? You guys were all close?
Excellent. Yeah, even now you'll see on some of our Twitter posts and Instagram posts, we always put 3M on most of it, and it's the three Musketeers. We're the Three Musketeers for the entire season, man. We got along great, and no one expected it, especially us. But we got along great, and we still do to this day. We're still very close friends.
That's great. Unfortunately, you don't always see that in every season. So
no, you don't, and we're so different, the three of us, man. You know what I mean? But somehow we managed to just click. We all clicked, and we clicked for the entire season.
Mm-hmm. So this episode, we also got an extended look at your ex, Jenna, sending you letters every day, and then obviously we saw her when you went back home for a little bit. So what type of agreement, like if any, did you guys have about you going out and meeting girls? Like what was, I guess, your status going in?
I was trying to be on best behavior, basically. I mean, we were at a pretty good point before I left. So my goal was to kind of try and do my best to not get myself into trouble. I mean, believe me, it's hard. Do I completely stay out of trouble? I mean, you guys will find that out real soon if I maintain my goodness through the whole thing or not. But I was trying to be on my best behavior. That was my goal. Okay. Like I say, it is very difficult when you're away, and you're out drinking every night and stuff. So there's a lot that goes on in that place.
One of the other explosive things from last night was obviously Jenny and Corey's relationship or whatever it is. So what was your take on them going at it pretty much seemingly a lot for the first few episodes? What was your take on their dynamic together?
I don't know, man. They had such a weird relationship. I mean, I didn't want to get involved with anybody in the house because you got to live there, Then that number one, that crosses off any chance of you bringing anything home,
right?
Because there's going to be drama. But I don't know. I mean, they both acting like they were, hot shots and pimps and stuff, and then all of a sudden they were like in love with each other. So I don't know. They hated each other one day, then they loved each other, then they hated each other, then they were friends with benefits. Then it was weird. Then they were broken off completely, and you see, Corey gets upset at the kid at the club, and he comes home and throws a tantrum, and it's like, man, looking back at it, it's like, wow, they had some seriously weird relationship.
Mm-hmm. Has there been anything from, I think it's the first 20 days, I think it ended with 10 days till the exit, so the first 20 days that they haven't shown that you kind of wish they did?
A couple of people asked that, and there's just so much stuff that goes on. They can't show it all. This is why I really hope that they do. Sometimes they do that show where it's like, the shit they should have shown.
The shit they should have shown, yeah.
I really do hope that they do that because there's just so much. I mean, we had other guests come over. Everybody's talking Doug's the first in the house. Doug wasn't the first in the house. We had other guests, We had other guests in the hot tub. They just chose not to show that. We got into a couple beefs with some people that weren't shown. There was so much that we did that wasn't shown so far, and I mean, to cram, it's like, I don't know, I feel like they crammed so much into it, yet there's still so much that people didn't get to see. It wasn't always just drama and stuff. We went out and had good nights. We joined like dance contests just for shits and giggles because we were drunk. Like, we had some fun times, that I wish they would have shown, but that's why I hope that they can do that show and you guys can see what else went on, because it was a hell of a lot.
Definitely. So I've also been always fascinated by the MC kind of club promoter type thing. So just kind of take me through a typical night or night-by-night basis that you go through with this. So I've always been interested in how that whole thing works.
Well, as an MC, I'm just the guy that runs around with a microphone. I got a beer in one hand and a microphone in the other hand. It's like, your job as an MC is to get the crowd hype. You have to keep the people there. They got the music, but sometimes everybody needs a little push to stay in there and have a good time, host some dance contests, stuff like that. Just get the crowd going. And for me, I'm a very outgoing person. I love it because I can sit up there all day with a microphone and tell, this girl to go dance over there, or someone do this move, and someone dance like that, get a circle going, and, they all listen. And it's great, and they're having a great time, and they're having a great time because of me, and that's what I love about it. Plus,
when did you kind of start doing this and then try to make it like full time or what, stuff like that?
I started out as a promoter when I was like 17, like everyone does, but I worked my way up to a team leader by 18, was bar manager by 19, and then decided that I wanted to MC at like 19 years old, and pretty much been running it ever since, MCing. I MC a lot. I've MC'd in Canada before. I've done Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Manhattan. I've done a lot of different spots, and even out in San Francisco, I MC'd for Estelle, who comes out singing American Boy. Like, I made my connections out there. I MC'd at Infusion Lounge. I MC'd at Manor West. I MC'd at the Cellar. I MC'd at Yoshi's, like 6 or 7 places, and there were some good acts there. When you're the one on stage calling in a freaking celebrity that everyone knows, it's a great feeling, and it's great publicity. And I love being the center of attention. I love being that person.
Very cool, very cool. So I'm not even going to ask if you want to do a challenge, because I know you definitely do want to do a challenge.
Hell yeah.
So instead, my question is, who do you think, kind of assessing your own skill set that you would bring to the table, who do you think from past challenges that you kind of most resemble?
I get the same answer every time anybody asks. I am going to follow up the 3. Johnny Bananas, CT, and Kenny. Those are the 3. Those are the 3 that everyone says I am most similar to, and those are the 3 that I myself feel like I would love to be up there with. I'd love to compete with them, and I'd love to compete against them.
That's lofty praise and lofty heights to kind of set yourself to.
I respect the 3 of them. Let's not get that twisted. I respect them. They are great at what they do. But you know what? I was always a leader, and I'm good at what I do. And you got to shoot for the stars, right? You got to take the big dog down. You're the big dog, and that's what I always go for. So I love the 3 of them. And I follow Johnny and CT like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah,
I have so much respect for them.
I would believe.
Those are the people. You go big or you go home, man.
Absolutely great. I think you'll be great on the challenge. I think this season in particular, I think it'll be a very good draft class, if you would call it.
I agree.
Good prospects on the horizon. So last question, and then I'll let you go. Super Bowl. You got a pick?
Yeah, I'm all about the Seahawks on this one, baby, and that is strictly against Jess from Real World Portland. You can quote me on that, Jess. Seahawks, baby, Seahawks, let's go.
Do you have any pull? Are you going to be able to get tickets or anything like that?
I'm hosting a couple of parties, like Super Bowl parties. So I know there's a couple at some big spots coming up. So I don't know what the dates and times are around that, or if I'll be at the Super Bowl or hosting a party while it's going on. You got to go where the exposure, the publicity, and the money is. So that's what I'm aiming for. But damn, sorry, whoever's going for Denver, they're a great team, but I got to go with the Seahawks just so I can go against Jess from Portland.
Okay, fair enough. So where can people find you on Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff?
I love social media, baby. Twitter and Instagram is at JGMTV. I also have a Facebook, which is, facebook.com/ it's official JGMTV. So my Facebook / official JGMTV, and then Twitter, Instagram is just at JGMTV.
Where did the JG start? Like, when did you start? When you decided I'm not just going to be J, I'm going to be JG? When did that start?
Nicknames since I started the clubs. When I first got in, someone made a nickname. It kind of stuck. It changed around a little bit. Ended up with just JG. It has a nice little ring to it, and it just stayed with me forever. It just did. And a lot of people ask that question, but it's like it's just a weird name that was given to me, and it stuck.
Great. All right. And what was the website for the charity and your watch again one more time?
The charity is youcaring.com/fightback, and my watches, it's crazewatches.com, CRAZE, crazewatches.com. And like I said, every watch there, a portion of the proceeds are donated to a charity foundation in my mother's name. So any of that is greatly appreciated by anyone out there.
Absolutely.
And can I also just say thank you to you and to everybody else for all the support that I got last night, because, it's not easy. It sucked. It completely sucked. But getting the response that I got on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, it made me feel great, knowing that there were other people there that learned from my situation, or, people were posting pictures with their closest family member, and that's what I wanted. That's why I let them come to New York and film it, so that people can realize that. And the support that I got from everyone, I just want to say thank you to you guys, because it was great.
Absolutely. We're glad we can kind of make you and your family kind of get it's kind of like reliving the whole thing again. So glad we can kind of make a little happiness in your life. So
yeah,
glad we can help.
It helps. It does. And everyone, fans think like, oh, I made their day by saying hello, but it's like you guys make my day by doing what you do, and you really helped me out a lot.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you again for coming on. Again, my deepest condolences once again, and hope to talk to you again later on in the season.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I look forward to it. Thank you for everything. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye.
Later, man.
There it is. The Bus Drivers Route podcast, for episode 3 of Real World Explosion, is in the books. Hope you all enjoyed hearing from Jay, and seeing even just some of your messages on Twitter really did help him get through this trying time. So before I sign off, let me just remind you all to follow me on Twitter at BusDriversRoute. Go to busdriversroute.com and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So that will do it for me. Until next time, have a good one.